Hello YouTubers and welcome back. I'm Keejchen and we are doing a 1v1 of Agartha versus Ulm. We are in turn 16 and we're going to dive right in here. We have research in construction completed at level 2, so now that's still not into the Roax Pact. It's the next level here. Yeah, and we are going to go for it. That's cool. Then we have claimed, Rekabrit has claimed the throne of law in the name of riches, king of kings, god of rainbows, king of birds and parrots. So he got the throne of law, and we will have a look at it. I think it gives order. He already claimed his first throne. We have searched Aman Forest for magic sites, but none were found. No surprise there. We lost 2 units during March, and then we have some battles. Let's dive right on in. We are expanding underwater with this is Pebble Hand, I think, and his secrets. Now this army is pretty strong. Oh no, I lowered my sound level quite a bit, so we will have to go and fix that in a second after this fight. And he's still not scripting Divine Blessing. That is a shame. Big misplay. I can't believe I had him expanding for like 6 turns. I think we're on like 6 turns or 5 turns or whatever, where he is not scripting his best spell and the most important spell. Let's get some sounds in here. Is that enough? I hope so. Now there's a little bit of sound. I turn it up a smidgen. Whoop. You gotta be really careful about the volume in Dominions 5. It's really loud, or maybe that's just my machine. We have a battle in Deep Forest. Oh, I didn't spoil it for you guys. Here we have the cavalry of Ulm expanding against a bunch of neutrals, not sacreds. It is not much of a contest. Think they might have lost a guy? No. I saw some of them take damage, so there might be some affliction taking, but they don't take any attrition at all otherwise. And we are expanding with our prophet here. A little bit of sacreds is still good, and he's scripting Divine Blessing, so that's helpful. We have some chaff mixed in. I think just enough to lower the casualties by a bit, and we take 1 Lion Tribe Warrior. Yeah, good. And this army is still doing well. An unexpected event has occurred in Kotakar. We have a Dominion changed so that could sort of only be to Ulm, I suppose. And then we have a local sect that has flourished. Their leaders preach that labor is for the wicked. That is unfortunate. Where is this? Range of light. That doesn't really matter. Kotakar here. So this is Richard's Dominion. That's... well, he has vision on it anyway right now. But otherwise he would actually have gotten this information for free, which is a little bit annoying. And now we have some enemies here in Deep Forest. He's right next to him. Oh, and I think Mr. Schniente here is suffering from the good old not putting PD into his provinces, which, if you followed my previous series, you know my thoughts on that. You should always put in at least 6. Yeah, so he probably didn't do that here, and we can predict his move here is that he's probably not going to push on further when he is lacking income from this province. So at this point I'm thinking he will probably go back to Bidra, and that leaves Deep Forest for us to conquer, and we will do that. Our guys here are amphibious, or at least some of them are, so we will be crossing the river everyone who's not amphibious will be staying or going to Blackdale, I think. And then I have teased this disease site here, and when I was playing it, I still didn't realize this, but I just thought we were unlucky. And here we have Gemthought, the Oracle of the Ancients, has now gotten a disease, and that's really, really bad. This could have been avoided if I had been focusing and thinking that this site caused us diseases. This is a lesson for me and for you guys to remember. If you get suddenly get diseases after moving into a territory, make a note of that, and then don't move your best leaders into that province later in the game, because we lose an Oracle of the Ancient basically to just moving into Kodakar. And I don't think this is the last time. It's gonna happen again. This is really unfortunate. Like, they cost, what, 375 gold, 2 capital recruitment turns. He has experience. And we're just gonna lose him to nothing. So, not the best. But we are gonna be using him for the 10 turns we have him. I think it's about 10 turns. They lose about 1/10 of his HP each month, so it's about 10 months. Which 10 turns is nice, you know, but you sort of get a countdown on this guy will die in 10 turns, and I hate it. At this point, I just thought I was being unlucky still. So, note for next game, make a mark of diseased territories. Alright. Other than that, we have a lot of scouts moving down further through his territories. We can see that there's no army in here, which is nice. There's 1 officer and a few loyal henchmen, so he's probably putting in 1 PD, but probably not 6. In the water, we are going to be expanding further down towards his provinces. I love that we have the underwater control here. Just having this territory will threaten the entire coastline here, including this throne, which is really nice. We don't know which throne it is that he has conquered of these 2. We can assume that it's one of those 2 in the back, and it is the Throne of Law. It increases order in the province that it is in, and then spreads dominion, and the dominion gets order +1. Which, are we aware of his dominion? I'm not sure that we are. This could be just from my dominion. Yeah, it's probably my dominion here. So, I think he might have sort of the same dominion at this point. So, I don't think he will benefit a lot from the order +1. Up here, we are going to be moving forward, and our profit will be expanding into this province here. It's really strange in the 1v1, because as soon as we encounter people, we will be attacking. There's no reason to engage in diplomacy and say, like, no, like in a normal Dominions 5 game, you go, it seems like we are bordering each other. Do you want to do a nap? Or you rarely see anyone going for aggression right off the bat, and usually because that will be punished. But in this case, there's nothing but reward. If you think you can take a territory from your opponent, you are gaining income while he's losing it. So it's much better than taking a neutral territory, and also letting him clear it for us means that we don't have to fight an independent army to take it. Now we might have to fight his troops here, so he could patrol, and we have to think, can we beat, how many? 17 Black Knights with this group, Shot Guards. 23 Shot Guards backed up by some Defenders of the Halls, who are also, oh my lord, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4 diseases, and then 3 of the Shot Guards are basically dead as well. Don't move into disease sites. Horrible play. Horrible, horrible. But it is what it is. We will be trying to conquer it, and I'm thinking that 23 Shot Guards should outclass, I guess, 18 Black Knights. We also have a basically a prophet guy spamming the smite spell, so he can remove one of them more or less per turn, right? I don't know what is the MR 9. Oh, really? Okay, so I didn't realize they actually have that low magic resistance. Interesting. I never noticed. But that means you should probably go for more magic resistance based attacks. And that is precisely what Oracles of the Ancients do. They have a single target spell that can remove one of these guys per turn if he is lucky. Right? So he's scripted to Sermon of Courage and then just Words of Power. Down here, we still have not scripted Pebble Hand, so he will be not doing another expansion where we get afflictions en masse, which is unfortunate. Up here, I don't think so. Let's see. 2 out of 4 saw a great disaster, and proper measures were taken to hold the chain of events. So we have now prevented a disaster in Agartha. That's really nice. And we have completed the fort up here, and we will be upgrading it. We have Pippin here right next to Bay Pond, and he will be searching this province first because we want to spend his mage turns effectively. So he's going to search here, then move in here, and then build the lab. Up here we are also expanding. No, we already took this. So we are just doing some logistics by moving troops up to the Woods of Weeping here. We're searching here in High Peaks. And we're moving Basalt here forward to support the army. Yeah. Building palisades in here, building temples. So we're getting this up to become a another mage production facility, like we have here. We're making earth readers and stuff. And that's sort of it for this turn. There's not a lot else to say. Oh, we are moving out too hard now. Another of our Oracle of the Ancients is going to move to Satala, probably go to South Dagod, and then once he is here and in the high ocean, we are now threatening this shoreline as well, which gives me a major advantage. He has more territory, I think. If we assume that he has sort of this area, well, we see this one is neutral. Maybe we are sort of even at this point. If he's like this size, but we see a fort here and a temple. So he has at least one fort as well. And we know that he has one of these thrones. Yeah, but let's dive into the next turn. Did I cover everything? I think I did. And then, yeah, saving. Continue your game. Into turn 17. This is EAD down to NT 17. Agartha. Lothar has found a magic site in High Peaks. Hallelujah. A boiling bog. Which is, I think, both. It's 2 gem site. We'll have a look at it in a second here. But let's take the battles first. Underwater, we are expanding still with no divine blessing. Sermon of Courage. And some Words of Power. We're taking damage all along the line, which is causing afflictions most likely, but we are winning and we are not. Oh, we even lose a shotgun. Hurts my feelings. Here, with our profit, we are taking the province. And that sort of goes as it usually does, hopefully with no afflictions taken. And as few losses as possible. If we lose the chaff, it's fine. We lose 1 Agarthan light infantry and 4 lion tribe warriors, but no shotguns. That's good. Let's just check in Valadun. Let's check the Valadun Deep Forest. So we attacked into Ohm's territory. This is our little army setup, and he leaves behind. This is about 2 points worth of province defense. Not enough to prevent the bad events that you get below 6 PD. So we take that one, no contest. Let's go and check here. Do we have any afflictions? We have one guy who's still deceased. I think that was from the disease side earlier on. So that's one point worth noting, that you don't die immediately from the disease, but we sort of just doomed him and he will die eventually. And we have gotten one other affliction. But pretty good. So yeah, we took the Deep Forest and he moved down to Bitra. And now, like, this was sort of a predictable move. I expected him to do this to... he saw my armies and he wouldn't... I guess he wanted to see what I did, and then he wanted to claim this one, so he makes sure that he gets income from all of these provinces. Now the real big question becomes, does he think that I will follow him in here, and what does he do here? Now, because now it gets really interesting. Over in the Velvet Ocean over here, we now see a whole shoreline of stuff. And we get a whole lot of intel on Ulm as a whole. Yeah, so he owns this throne at the very least, or at least has an opportunity to claim it. We don't know for sure that this is the Throne of Law. It could be over here that he's claimed this one as well, and has not claimed this one yet. But we know that he at least has claimed this province. We see one fort here. We see one fort down here that is the same size as my fort. So he has one palisades here, and we have one palisades up there, just comparing. And then he has one medium-sized fort as well, which we do not have. We have one building here. So he's ahead in forts, we can see that. We can count provinces, I suppose. Let's do a province count, now that we can see most of his stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. I hope I didn't miss any, but about 24 at least. And let's see, it's turned 17, so I think that's pretty good. Then we do his territories. Here's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and then the ones that we can't see, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, and 23. And we don't know that he controls this province or all of these down here. So we are actually, by this point, leading in province count. I didn't really expect that to be the case, but I have expanded, I suppose, faster than him. We have taken some losses, and this army here not being scripted correctly, which is still not. Jesus, that is shameful. Shameful is spy. And one thing worth noting is that the Shotgun's armor is getting rusty and damaged. So that's not something we can prevent with the Divine Blessing, but it's worth noting. And damaged armor slightly reduced. So if we look at the protection, like if I look at a non-rusted shotgun, they have protection 16, and then they go down to protection 15. Okay, so it's not a big deal, but it is a deal, I suppose. You take 1 more damage per hit, right? Or we can look at it and say it has a armor value of head 15 and body 10. And if we look over here again, this is protection 16, 15, and 13. So it's, yeah, it averages out, which means it's 3 more damage from hits to the body, which is something. So, like, that's unpreventable when we go underwater. That's not really a big concern. And the units that we fight underwater usually have lower protection as well, so it's fine. But the afflictions that we are getting are probably what is killing us, if anything. Now let's analyze Ulm's territories a little bit and what we see. We know that these are the 18 Black Knights that we saw before. Then over here, we now see a new stack of 30 enemy units, Black Knights, crossbowmen. The local defense consists of 1 officer and a few loyal henchmen. So he's moving up a second stack here, which consists of Black Knights and crossbowmen. And I think this is interesting because when I was playing Ulm, like I mentioned, I played a test game where I tried playing them against myself. And I didn't use the Black Knights. I used the Guardians and then Flail Infantry primarily. So he's not doing the same strategy that I was doing with them, but the Black Knights, we have seen those, they are really, really good. And crossbowmen is a nice mix in here. And I suspect that this wouldn't be a big problem for us, but we will see about that later. So that's analyzing what we see from him. We don't know what he will do here. This army, I doubt we'll be able to move all the way over here, but I think he is expecting me to come down here. So I'm gonna do a little subversive strategy and grab these 2 neutral provinces in the water that he cannot grab. So we make sure to grab as much of the water that he cannot contest as easily, so that we can lock down the ocean and the islands and have that sort of as a backbone, and then start fighting over the land. That's much better for me, I think. We're also moving more troops down into the water here for some reinforcements. We are gonna be reclaiming the Windsong Forest with we are taking Nob and Vidigus and throwing them together in here. This is our weird little setup. The Troglodytes are on hold command, guard commander, because they have the unfortunate thing of being, if we look at our combat speeds, which is the reason for this whole setup, the Troglodytes by far is the fastest units of them all. So even if I put them at the very back and the Shark Guards at the very front, the Troglodytes will often end up engaging the enemies earlier and then they die. You need sort of a critical mass of trampling units to make them really good. So what we have right now, we're keeping back and just putting it on a commander and hold an attack with him. Which is kind of cool. He has unequal obesity. We could probably have gone like a few turns less of holding, because he isn't that fast. And then we would actually make him come up and help with these Troglodytes. It's kind of a cool little strategy to use them more sparingly than just throwing them forward. So I should have maybe done that a little bit more, but we might be doing it later. We found a magic site up here. Boiling Bog. Yes, 2 gems. So we finally have gem production outside of our capital in the high peaks, which is really nice. And there was 2 other site searchings that we didn't find anything. We are going to keep on site searching. So here Basalt is going out, searching. We have Ngugi here, moving out. What are we recruiting? Just Earth Readers. And up here we are recruiting a priest, because I built a temple first instead of a high priest. Having just one sacred priest type unit to spread the dominion a little bit, I think is a good thing, especially in a 1v1, because it will all be about, at least for the purposes of our gods, who has dominion where. I think we still don't really see his dominion. Oh, okay, it increased in order here after he got dominion in there, so that tells us that he probably has a high order as well, and Olm will probably always run productivity 3. I suspect that he will have high growth as well. He probably has Drain though, instead of Magic, because I think Olm does not rely on Drain Scale at all, or take penalties from Drain Scale. Let's see what else. We have an event occurred, so we lose Dominion in Giant's Rest up here. Unfortunate. Then a worldwide event has occurred, because the Throne of Law has been claimed by Righteous Pretender. Okay, so everything gets order +2 and unrest has decreased, so that is why the Dominion has raised in here, probably. Or the order Dominion. Alright. Anything else? Building up the palisades in here still. Yeah, we are converging on this province, moving into the water here. It shouldn't be much of a challenge for our Shark Guards to take these underwater provinces. We are moving out more units from the capital with Earthfinger here, and it's an underwater force, so he's moving to Satala so that he can move along the coast. And then the cool thing is that once we're moving along the coast, we're threatening, if we get to this Typhian Sea here and we can hold these 2 provinces, he will constantly be a threat all along. Like, look at this province here, all along the coast. So if I have a major army sitting here, he suddenly has to think about this whole coastline. Same thing over here. And the cool thing about that is, like, if he sets up a major defense along this coastline, because I have an army sitting here, 1, 2 turns, I'm over here. So like 1, 2, 3. And if he has an army here, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4 to get over here. So it gives me a huge flexibility later on in the game when we control the entire water thing, which is something that I'm hoping to do. We see more crossbowmen and archers being produced here, which I think is a bit of a weird choice, because I don't consider. I guess okay, we do have bucklers, so that's nice against the arrows. But otherwise, I'm not really scared of projectiles as much as I probably should be, but I'm not, and I don't think that it is a big concern for us. But I'm sure he can make good use of them. Up in the fortress. Are we recruiting in here? No, not anything at the moment. Are we moving anything into Kodakar? Not right now. Good. And then that's sort of it. We haven't gone for any of the thrones, but we have some pretty big thrones right next to us. There's another level 1 throne somewhere in the world. We see this one here. It could be a level 1 in here. But let's go in and look at the next turn here. So, continue old game. We might probably go down to doing 3 turns per game at this point, or per episode. So we were in 16. No, we were in 17, so in 18. We have searched for magic fire sites, but didn't find another one. Then we have 4 battles coming in here, so lots of expansion going on still. I think we are still ahead in province count then. And he didn't attack us. So in the water, still no blessing. And the battles always end before we go off script, so we don't get... Here's the divine blessing. Yeah. We lose another shard guard. In the high ocean, here I think we are scripting divine blessing. Yes, good. And it's extra unfortunate because it's the poorly scripted army is the when it was moving out at least, and ever since I don't think I've had the same stack of shard guards. So our biggest, most prized army is the poorly scripted one. But all the other battles seems to be going pretty well. These are a little bit tougher. What do they call? The Chandlers. So let's see how that goes. Do we take some damage here? It's nice with these oracles of the ancients, they kill a few before we enter combat. And it's basically just like having a prophet in every army. I love it, and we can stack more of them together later on. And if they don't have any other spells to cast, they can always just remove 1 unit per turn, which is amazing. Now this is our prophet army, and we have no oracle of the ancients here. This is a rather big army, but these are the ranged units, and we don't really fear them. As I said, arrows are not a big concern for us. Decent armor. But we lose some chaff to it, so that's worth noting. Once we get into the melee with the ranged units, then they are really, like, no contest for us. Here comes the troglodytes, they are coming in. Okay, that worked out quite well actually, that's nice. I think they get a kill even? Yeah, 1 kill. Do we lose any shard guard? 1, okay. But it was a big province of these centaurs are pretty good, both as archers and in melee. They are decent, have high hit points, decent stats. So yeah, no protection though, so they are not good in melee, but at range they do quite well. There's 7 units total. Not that bad. It's fine. And we get Windsong Forest back. An unexpected event occurred in Blackdale. More poor events. We get unrest. An alien has been sighted skulking near sites of mystical power in Blackdale. Down here, and we have site searched for the things that we can. So it's probably tells me that it's an Astral site, but we don't have Astral to search with yet. We are moving in here now in Giant Spine. So one thing I want to note again on a 1v1 thing is that I should have, instead of moving towards the opponent here, I would want to clear out the land behind us so that once we establish front lines, I will already have claimed all the land in the back, because once the front lines are drawn, we sort of have to keep our armies up here. I can't move armies back to go up here, and because then he will be following behind me and pushing up. Because again, right now the independents in here are working sort of as a buffer between us. I should use that time to claim these provinces up here for sure. We are doing sort of that in the water. Oh, and we see Orm's little tricksy business here. He is in the water, and he has 20 units here and 20 units here, and he has these war shamblers, which are the mercenaries. He's still paying for these shipwreckers. So yeah, he is in here, and thinking that he can be sneaky and take some water provinces, maybe build up some water province defense and stuff before I got down here. Luckily, we are here relatively fast, and we have some pretty strong armies. So now we're converging these two armies, and look at that. Gemthought is going to come in and save Pebblehand by this, with his pre-scripted Divine Blessing, and Pebblehand can keep doing his Summon Courage. I think this is where, once I script these two battles, I realize, oh, Pebblehand didn't, because I go in and think, oh, we shouldn't double cast that Divine Blessing, and then look, oh, he didn't have Divine Blessing scripted. And then I click this button and go like, oh no. So that's unfortunate. We have more shot guards now, so about 40 coming in here total. And them working together is good because Pebblehand will eventually die. No, sorry, Gemthought will eventually die, and then Pebblehand can at least grab the whole army for safekeeping. So we're converging on his outer province here, where that we can reach with two of them, and I'm just gonna kick him out of the sea immediately. I don't want to look at this. It's not gonna be. I don't want him down here if we can avoid it, right? Look at it in his provinces. He's got this one upgraded now, and we now see another citadel here. We know that his capital is also a citadel, so he is still leading in forts by far. We have upgraded this one here, and this palisades is done. And I'm starting a palisades immediately over here by Morel. Not immediately, that's with one turn delay. It's a decent province, and again, like Blackdale here, it's close to Blackdale, and we have a Amman Forest up here to support it, so I'm sort of building a little network of forts here that will sort of establish my core provinces here, while we have the water and so this area here. I like that as a sort of establishing my domain is this corner of the map, the land mass, and then this river here will make it difficult for him to cross up here. So as long as we can hold the lines between these three forts, we should be decently well protected against invasions in our core territories here. I still wish I would have claimed this up here. We're claiming the Green Harbor Island here with our little amphibious force of mermen, and then a bunch of our secrets here. Anything else? We didn't see any advances from him. I don't know where he moved, because we still have the. I think he was expecting me to come in here and thinking, oh ho ho, he's gonna fool me, and then I just subverted him here, and now we can jump in behind him here, which is also cool, and he might expect that. But I think he knows now that he sees this down here. He sees these two armies. He will think that, okay, now the battle is on in the water. What would you do? He will probably converge his two armies, maybe even make an attack here, do some sort of tricks to try to defend in the water. Because he's already invested money in the water as is. So he wants to make sure that that investment pays off somehow. Meanwhile, on land, is up here. Oh, he's starting a fort here as well in Waywood. So we're up to 1, 2, 3, 4 forts that we can see. And we know he has one more as a capital. So he's definitely still leading in forts. I think I must be leading in provinces still, province count. Oh, we didn't count these two, I suppose. So he had those as well before when we were counting. And that makes it sort of even again, because he has the underwater. But we are going to be taking them from him, right? So that's good. Still wish, like, we are attacking here in Giant Spire because I didn't, as Giant Spine, because I didn't want to waste this army's turn. But I probably should have moved like over here and then just had one stack, clean up the back line, like go here, go through all these provinces, meet with something from over here, and just then he might push up a little bit. But then I should be able to, once I've sort of swing around here, push back down. And that would have been a little bit more of a solid play to just, make this mine. We don't see him expanding at all, though. I was expecting him to maybe take Warney here, but he isn't doing any risky moves like that. We see an army here with now these black plate infantries with flails. So that's cool. Those are pretty damn good. They get 2 attacks per round. More crossbowmen, archers, sappers in here. And yeah. moving in here with this little contingent. Conrad is going to come in here with whatever we had in the fort. And that's mostly so that he can site search in here next turn. And it'll be a-okay. We have site searching and all the things. Construction and fortress up here, yeah, and palisades in Amman. So we are building fortresses, but we are just behind. Ulm makes a lot more money, I feel. That's probably not true. I think we have a decent income. I'm just spending... I think my units in the capital, at least, are really expensive compared to... Well, we can have a look. These guys cost... Oh, no. Down here. 45. Same as my secrets in gold, which is really interesting. More resources. Yeah, but he can do these in every fort. And then if we can still look at Richards, and then let's say Sabres are 20 gold, but and these black plate with flails are only 10 gold, right? And I am getting my basic infantry, which are not as good, for 13 gold. Defenders of the Halls. They have siege and defense bonus, which is nice, and they're amphibian. That's good, but the black plate infantries have protection 23, and I think at least the same attack and damage values. So our infantry are inferior to his, but our sacreds I think are a little bit better than the cavalry black knights. I hope they're about equal strength, I suppose, but he can get them anywhere. So he can have a lot more of them than I have shotguns. They cannot be blessed though, but he can of course just throw magical buffs onto them. Any other notes for this turn here? I think we are sort of reaching it. I haven't really been talking about what we're doing in terms of smithing. We have a dwarven hammer now that I smithed last turn, but we haven't really gotten a lot of production up and running. I don't know why we're not using the dwarven hammer. I think that must be a mistake. Oh, we are using a dwarven hammer here to forge a black steel helmet. That's good. I think I forgot to mention that. I gotta start mentioning forgings every turn. So we have one dwarven hammer, and I think we used one dwarven hammer to forge another dwarven hammer. So we have some economy built in that. And we can spend our earth gems this way. Are we starting the Ruark's Park thing yet? No, we don't have Conjuration level 3. We're getting that. Oh, right, that's why we're not using the Dwarven Hammer, because we needed we needed every other mage available to just make it above Research 86, so that we can break Conjuration level 3 and start pumping out those Fire Elementals. I think they will be really good. Then the Fire Elementals, Magma Children. They're not as good as Fire Elementals, but they are really, really cheap, so we will be spamming them out. And they're pretty decent against highly armored protection units. So yeah, that's it for this episode, folks. Yeah, takes a little bit longer now that we are getting into the game. That's pretty cool. I hope you guys are enjoying this one, and stay tuned for the next episode. See you then. Bye-bye.